Welcome along to your latest Saints news and reaction. Thank you for tuning in. This will be my last video on Spygate until we have a decision from the Independent Commission. That's due at any time. We could see it before Tuesday. I would expect we see it at some stage on Monday afternoon. I may be wrong, but I don't think we see it over the weekend. Get involved in the conversation below. You can give me all your opinions and all your thoughts. Be respectful to one another and try not to be personal as well, because I love creating this content and I've enjoyed what I've done this season surrounding Southampton Football Club. But if people want to be personal, just have a little think. Have a little think before you're nasty, not just to me, but to one another. And some of what's been said and gone on between the two sets of fans, not just from Boro fans, but from Southampton fans as well, some of it has been just so out of order the last few days. It is just a game of football. But the Independent Commission will come to a decision and they will get the facts. And I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen. I've had a huge amount of you message me directly. I would say probably 45 messages in 2 days, maybe more. Like my inbox and Facebook across social media is mega. So what I will do is I will give you all my reaction and all my thoughts here, and that should cover it. I do a lot of video content, and you can always get my opinions and my thoughts by Martin Reacts videos. This is another Martin Reacts video. I'm not here for clicks. I know somebody was saying on Saints Web today, a lot of people have used this to make stories, to make content for clicks. Not here for clicks. I could quite happily not do this video, but I'm doing it because I want to cover everything that's happening. And I've actually not covered what Boro had to say yesterday because Boro want Saints kicked out. I've not reacted to that, and I've not spoke about that story yet because I needed to give myself a little bit of a breather yesterday, Friday. But I'm back. I'm in good form, and I enjoy bringing you Saints content, and I love talking to you about it. But just rest assured, I'm not here for clicks. That is for sure. So Middlesbrough yesterday released an official statement as the EFL disciplinary commission were due to meet or were meeting. They dropped this statement, which they could have done a few days ago, but they obviously drop it at a really pivotal time during this process. Boro say that they are directly affected by what happened, and they believe the relevant evidence regarding the alleged spying incident and the competitive impact it has had. They cannot be at this commission. They cannot take place in it, and they cannot appeal it. The EFL can and Southampton can, but Middlesbrough can't. But their strongest line in that statement yesterday was that they believe the only appropriate punishment would be a sporting sanction that prevents Southampton from playing in the Championship final. It's a massive statement, and Boro are basically arguing that it goes beyond a fine, and they see it as an issue of sporting integrity and fair competition. And we talk about fair competition and we talk about the integrity of the game. Let's start on about the integrity of the game. From what I saw last night between Aston Villa and Liverpool, McAllister, the way he threw himself on the ground and cheated, trying to get someone sent off. The FA Cup final today, Cole Palmer, and the way he behaved. I've had clips sent to me, and the way he behaved to a challenge, he was faking it, and he was trying to get an advantage in the game. This happens. By the way, two sides, we should feel a little bit relieved actually. Two sides, Chelsea and Man City, both with huge charges against their name. Man City with over 115 charges. Man City with 115 charges. Chelsea with like 70 odd charges against their name. Both playing in the biggest showpiece in British football. Yet there is a story about Southampton on pretty much every newspaper, every sporting website, and YouTube is just an absolute wash with people trying to cover this story, even if it had nothing to do with Southampton. Everybody is desperate to weigh in and pile in on Southampton Football Club. And there is no doubt there's been a huge amount of damage done to the reputation. Still yet to be found guilty, and I'm looking forward to getting the answer that we need and a bit more. I think we need a bit more. There's a lot here saying there's a lot of that people, just social media is awash with it. Until I hear it from really good sources and we actually see what's happened, we can then make a really, really big judgment on it. But look, they've been charged, Southampton. We spoke about this the other day, but it's who enabled this to happen, who had a say-so on it. And I'm going to come on to Bielsa very shortly because I covered a story on it today. But obviously, Boro are arguing that it goes beyond the fine and they see it as an issue of sporting integrity and fair competition. They weren't good enough over the 2 legs. And the big question is, if Saints are kicked out, which could happen, it could happen. I don't think it will happen. My honest opinion is I don't think they will kick Southampton out. But if they were to do so, do Middlesbrough just go automatic into the final, or do you just let Hull have a bye? There's a huge amount of tickets been sold. And I think from a Saints view now, when I looked online today, almost every single ticket has been sold in the lower tiers. So there's not actually loads of tickets left. You think about the amount of refunds that would have to be made if they're to kick Southampton out. The refunds for the club, you think what, WorldPay with like a percentage and a bit to refund all those transactions. There's all the hospitality that's been sold. There's all the transport. I had someone from America. They're looking to book flights. People are coming over. The biggest thing for me is if there was any real doubt after the first leg, do you not think there should have been a call made back then by the EFL? Well, hold on a minute. Do we play the second leg? I think it's just not. I don't think the EFL have dealt with it that well, in my honest opinion. That is just me being honest. But reports this afternoon, Saturday, from the Times, and I want to react to this. The EFL investigation is looking into whether senior Southampton figures commissioned, encouraged, or participated in the spying activities. And that's interesting because they are saying the EFL can demand emails, phone records, and WhatsApp messages. And I'm sure they will try and get that if they want to get to a proper resolution and get the proper facts. The big thing is they have to prove what is on the phone. They have to prove what is on the phone and what has gone back to Staplewood, to Eckert and his team and his coaching staff. And his coaching staff is made up of a lot of people. But somebody somewhere has had this final say. Somebody within the men's first team has said, yeah, we can do this. And that is the big, big thing for me, because that decision by that one person could have such repercussions on the football club. Not just on whether we go back, whether we can play in the final at the weekend and have an opportunity to go back to the Premier League, an opportunity to play against Hull City. And they're a good side. A lot of people talk about this windfall that Saints are going to get. Well, they've got to beat Hull first and foremost if we get there, if we're allowed to play in this final. But the impact it has on the club as a whole, on the staff, the people that are probably hanging on because it's we're going in the second year of parachute payments, cutbacks will be made. The foundation is massively reliant on being in the Premier League. It's huge for the city. The impact this one person or several people have had on the wider football club could be massive. It could be absolutely huge. And I'm disappointed about it. Like every single one of you, I'm really disappointed about it. I want to come on to the thoughts on the article I read today, which I said about a minute ago from Times Sport. They also said that some figures around the EFL, and I don't know who these figures are reportedly believe that Southampton are found guilty of multiple breaches. It's a likely punishment, could be a points deduction if we're in the EFL next season or when we return to it. It's just a case like Fabrizio Romano said today, I think it was this morning I saw that there's talk that Saints haven't just done this once. And you think if they've done it once, he's probably right. But have they done it just the one time? And are there other clubs with evidence out there to suggest that they have? I'm sure that Boro have done all they can to prove that we've done it to other clubs. But the rule in place is interesting, and we need to cover it. I saw a really good article from a Hull City, a news outlet around Hull, and they were covering Hull City, but they went on to have a really good sort of breakdown and thought process on it. And they were going back to saying that when the scandal happened with Bielsa in Leeds back in 2019, the EFL did introduce new regulation, including rules for clubs acting in good faith and banning observations of training sessions within 72 hours of a fixture. So what are they saying then? Are they saying you can go and observe it before? Am I right in saying that? Can you? Love your opinion on it. The problem is that the rules that they've put in place are still quite vague. There was never a clear defined punishment set out for future breaches, which is why probably now there is so much uncertainty in what could happen. For me, realistically, the most likely outcome will be a fine. But the independent commission technically could remove us from the final. It's a week away, so they need to speed up pretty quickly, really. They need to act quickly. And that has annoyed me, that the speed of it is just not happened fast enough. If Southampton were removed, there will be absolute chaos in terms of all the refunds, like I spoke about, everything that's been sold up to this. It could be an absolute mess. And then they've got to try and move the game. There's talk about Old Trafford as an alternative venue because Wembley's busy. They're talking about a Tuesday night. Who wants the Championship playoff final on a Tuesday night? That will affect revenue. That will massively affect revenue. And the people that could go in the middle of half term, they're talking about as well, some of the dates I saw. So Southampton, if we're kicked out, will certainly appeal any decision immediately. And that could push back the final even more. So for that reason, I don't think Southampton are kicked out. But the argument is simple. So the question is, will Southampton be fined? Could there be a points deduction next season? And could the playoff final actually be delayed? And are we heading towards a huge legal battle? At the moment, we still don't know, but we will know very soon. But one thing is certain, that the story isn't going anywhere. My final thoughts on it. If Eckert has overseen this and allowed it, which we will find out, is a big if. We don't know. It's hearsay at the moment, but I think it's pretty unlikely that he wouldn't have known about it. I think if either way, his job will be under some fairly big scrutiny inside the football club because they've put a huge amount of livelihoods at the club in jeopardy. A £200 million prize fund at the end of it, and all the sponsors on the back of it, all the revenue from TV, and it's hard to put a figure on it because there's so much you can make being in the Premier League as a Premier League club. It's just not the TV money. It's the sponsors you can attract. And actually, from a sponsor's point of view, if Saints are found guilty, what does this actually do for the club's image? Is going to be a little bit tarnished. Well, it will be. It kind of feels like it already, though. There's no clear punishment, but it could have a massive impact. I really feel it could be one of the biggest crisis summers in a very, very long time. But going back to Bielsa, and I watched his interview today, and it's well worth watching for any of you that have not seen it. Go check it out and see what you think of it. But that explosive press conference he did in 2019, so interesting, so interested. He said, apart from the players in the club, you have around 20 staff members. They go off and create a volume of information. Absolutely, it's not necessary, he said. But he was asked why he did it. He said, because we feel guilty, we do not work hard enough. It was a rare insight, wasn't it, into how he thought about spying on other teams. And he did it, Bielsa, on every single team in the division. It's quite incredible, really. When you look back at the story, you would have thought on the back of it that they would have put proper sanctions in place after that. And I'm surprised that the EFL didn't, because it is left so wide open. And what Southampton did was wrong. What they did was wrong. And there's a rule in place, whether they didn't look at the rules or they slipped over the time frame. And maybe the training started a bit later and Salt couldn't get his footage quick enough. But really and truly, the sanctions should have been firmly set in stone back then. The lack of clarity is arguably why we find ourselves where we are. And that's my big point in this video, that there's a lot of frustration from Boro, a huge amount of frustration, but they must show some at the EFL, It's not just Southampton. It's not great. I know there's frustration towards us, but you have to have frustration towards the EFL because it should have been set in stone after that. It should have been set in stone after that. The tabloids, the press, the media circus, you've got Sky News on it now. It is everywhere. And the only thing that I pray and hope for is that the independent commission do not listen to the noise, because so many people want us thrown out over one incident. We've done one thing wrong, and we could likely lose the opportunity to play a game that's worth about 200 million. So you're going to fine someone 200 million. I just don't see that being something that happens. That's just my opinion. You can check out more thoughts from the Football Martin team. We had a get-together this week on the Saints Unfiltered podcast that I produced with Charlie and Ellie Brett. You can go and check that out on the channel. Some really good conversation between the three of us. I'm going to do a call-in show. I want to do a call-in show so you can come and have your say. If you want to get involved in that, you can do so. You can do so by dropping me an email, info@footballmartin.com, or sending me a direct message. I will pick a night to do it. I won't do it Sunday, but I will do it at some stage over the coming days. I will announce it across social media. You can come and have your say. It will be for Saints fans only, but you need to get in touch first, and we will line you up to come on. Also, go check out Finn Azaz in SO14. I joined the Saints Foundation for Saints by Their Side a couple of weeks ago to have a look at their work in the community. Some fantastic work from the Saints Foundation. Go check out that video as well. Finn Azaz made an appearance, and we were checking out what the Saints Foundation do with Saints by Your Side, which is brilliant. We talk about mental health. It's well worth a really good look, a really good watch. It's good to talk, and they do an amazing job. Anyway, that's it. This is, like I said at the top of the show, my final video on Spygate until we get a definitive answer from the EFL. I've covered this as best as I possibly can. Like I said at the top of the show, I'm not here for clicks. I'm here for discussion. I'm here to give my opinions and my thoughts, and an opportunity for you to have your say. If you're not liked the video, like it. If you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and stay tuned to all my social media platforms for all the very latest. But it's got a big few days for the football club. All eyes are on what Dragan Solak does as well. If the worst come to the worst, what will happen? Will Eckert lose his job? If Saints are kicked out, I would be watching that very closely if we are kicked out. But I don't think we will be kicked out. But it doesn't quite feel the same, does it, Saints fans? This playoff final doesn't feel the same. And I've forgotten about the game on Tuesday night, which is really, really sad. I'm gutted that it's been overshadowed by this. Check out the merch. We got some mugs and some goodies in the shop, shop.footballmartin.com. The mugs are superb, by the way. Absolutely love these. They're so nice. Got my cup of tea. They've been produced by a friend of the Harwood Bellis family, and they're handmade. They're really, really nice. Check them out. There's not loads left now. Absolutely flying out the door. So make sure you go check out the merch store. I'll be back with some more content very, very soon.